What's going on, everyone, and welcome into Expected Bets for your go-to podcast for all things hockey betting. I'm Gator Betting, joined by my two co-hosts today. We got Franco the Banker and Gretzky Betskis. We are on the New York Rangers, a team that was a disappointment last year. We're going to see if they can turn things around, but they finished with 85 points, 39, 36, and 7 as their record, fifth in the Metropolitan, missed the postseason. Looking at their stats from last year, that power play ranking 28th is a major issue. That was kind of their, golden ticket for the past few seasons of the 5-on-5 scoring wasn't there, but as soon as they got a power play, they could take advantage of it. Betsky, they bring in Gavrikov, Radish, and a new head coach and Mike Sullivan to try to turn this team around. We talked about it a little bit before the show. In terms of a roster construction, we kind of like the top line, top pairing, but after that, it gets interesting quick.
Is a very different looking team than what we saw building and feeling like one of the top teams in the East just 2 seasons ago. But still have a top goaltender in the league. You still have a Norris-winning caliber defenseman who now has a very prototypical shutdown defenseman who can play big minutes in Gavrikov on his pairing, where I always felt the Fox pair, the Adam Fox pair always looked a little weird on paper in years past. So I think that top pairing on the defense looks really solid. I think it's easy to underestimate how big of an impact JT Miller may be on this team. I mean, this is a team that has Trocheck down the middle as well. It seems like JT Miller really, really wanted to be a Ranger again, and getting named captain could be a big step up here. I feel like some of the best players on this team can really play up to a Mike Sullivan coach team as well. I think we're getting a little bit of a culture and identity shift here. And I think I still see some very glaring players that don't really fit that as well. So this really feels like a team that is like vinegar and water, and how much is it going to separate from what they're trying to do to what they are able to do?
Yep.
I think if the mixture is right, this could be a pretty good team that surprises and it blends. If not, I think this is a team that they don't know where to go next. And we know that Panarin could be moved.
Yeah, I mean, Shesterkin had a little bit of a down year last season. The consistency was not what we had seen in years prior. Franco, they lose Kreider, who goes to Anaheim, Keandre Miller to Carolina, Zach Jones, Kaliev, and Calvin DeHaan. I think Kreider didn't have necessarily the best season. I think it was time for him to move on. Keandre Miller, I know he was very contentious in terms of Rangers fans' opinions on him. Some loved him, some hated him, and thought he was a huge defensive liability. But this team doesn't lose a ton heading into this year.
Yeah, I agree. The Kreider move had to happen, like you said. I feel like it was finally time for that to happen. He might have been one of the issues with the power play. Who knows if it was him or not? That seemed to be the guys, right? Like it was the same unit that we've seen over the last few years, and all of a sudden now it stops working. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, I think moving on from Miller is fine as long you're replacing with Gavrikov. That's a pretty damn good swap, I would say. But I think my biggest question mark at this point is really this blue, like the blue line after that top pair and the bottom six here. Now, this is a team that is always in the market somehow, some way. Like I feel like they don't have cap space, but somehow they manage to get like the best player on the market during the trade deadline somehow, or teams just want to take on their dead weight salary guys. But so you can't. Yeah. I mean,
maybe they've been employing the Steve Ballmer method.
You can't like count them out of like improving on what we're seeing right now. Like when the playoff time comes and all that fun stuff. But like right now, that's what we're talking about. I can't predict the future, but I don't know, man. I don't really love like what this looks like right now. and that feels kind of weird to say for a team that is, minus 200 to make the playoffs, and everybody's expecting a big bounce back for it. Like, you still have a great goaltender in Shesterkin, like you said. The top two lines look fine. I think Cooley's very underrated. Are we going to see a bounce back from Lafreniere? Like, he had a pretty down year after we finally thought he turned that corner. That's a big question mark. Is Perreault going to be any good? He was a high draft pick, and obviously there's some hype around him. But, I mean, the rest of these guys in that bottom six, like I said, I don't know. Like, what am I getting from these guys? From Brodzinski and Taylor Radish and Edstrom, and we know what Rempe is. And I don't know, man. I just, like... I mean, what do you think, guys? Like, for that bottom six, to me, it just doesn't look that good. You know what I mean? Like,
the third line is going to be key for this team here. If Perreault, Radish, and Brzezinski can click, it's kind of a younger line. I think they do maybe stand a chance, but they're going to need a lot. Like, the depth scoring could be an issue for this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're going back again to the same thing where it needs to be, Panarin and Zibanejad and Miller being the only guys, and obviously the other pieces chip in, but it just gets tough when that happens. And again, I don't really love that blue line either, to be honest with you. You have a couple cracking cast-offs and Vakanainen. I don't know, man. Like, those guys are going to have to play minutes. Fox and Gavrikov are going to get worn down if they're playing 30 minutes a game every night.
Fox had injury issues last year too.
And then you got that. Yep.
Getting into their team futures, 85 points last year. This season, the projected regular season points total is at 95.5. As we talked about before, they're minus 200 to make the postseason, plus 160 to miss the playoffs, 5.5 to 1 to win the division, 16 to 1 to win the conference, and then 30 to 1 to win the Stanley Cup. Betsky, any team futures interest you, intrigue you, or are you staying away and going to wait to maybe play some or look at some player props?
Yeah, I think the value is on missing the playoffs. But I wish the price was better, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, minus 200 to make it, and then
plus 160 to miss.
160 just feels like.
But I think after Carolina and New Jersey, it gets really interesting in this division. It gets really interesting in this division because if we think Washington's going to regress, how much of a step are the Rangers going to take forward, if they are going to take any at all? From there, Columbus, can they repeat the success they had last year and build on it? There are so many teams in that middle spot right now with a ton of question marks that you can really argue for either side. But after we talked about Carolina and New Jersey, I'm not really taking any of these teams to make the playoffs because you just don't know.
Yeah, I would agree.
Who's third right now?
Who's on third?
Who's on third?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so it almost has to be Washington by default, no? Like, we're expecting regression,
there's
but
like 2 or 3 teams that switch out,
just fall off completely.
Spots, and I'm trying to figure out who that is this year.
I mean, according to Crosby, Pittsburgh's still contending.
The more I look at this and start like considering these other teams like this, the more I just want to take Jersey and Carolina over their points, because I don't see, like, these other teams are just so like. I don't know, unless somebody just makes this crazy jump. But I mean, if you're looking at point totals from last year, like third was Jersey at 91, and you're laying a 95.5 for the Rangers. Like, to me, I love the under here, to be honest with you. Like, I already broke it down. I don't love their bottom six. I don't love their blue line overall. If Shesterkin doesn't bounce back, you have questions there. Fox injuries could happen again. Panarin's banged up right now in camp.
Lafreniere has never put up more than 57 points.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we were ready to like crown him going into like last year. Seriously, like everybody was on his props to start the year. We thought he like was it. He found it, and then it was like, oh no, actually I didn't find it. I just lost it again, guys. Sorry.
Player props. I have a few that I love for this team. Adam Fox is at 69.5 points. Panarin's at 90.5. JT Miller's at 76. I'm just going to start with Fox here. We talked about the addition of Gavrikov, of giving him a rock-solid partner who's going to provide some stability on the back end for him. We're not concerned with that first pair. Fox had injury issues last year, still managed 61 points in 74 games played. Previous seasons, he had 73 and 72 games played, 72 and 82, 74 and 78. This is a bet on Fox staying healthy, and Fox also having a D partner that can handle the majority of the defensive issues, where if he wants to get into the play, it's not necessarily worst case scenario for this team because Gavrikov's there as his partner. So I like Adam Fox at 70 plus points, plus 165 on FanDuel. DraftKings has his season points total at 69.5 at minus 115. They also have him at 70 plus points at minus 120. FanDuel, complete opposite, plus 165 for 70 plus points. That's my first future bet of this team.
Yeah, I love that one. I mean, the power play struggled last season, and I don't foresee it to be a complete repeat of that. I think this team will be able to put up some goals. I really, really like that. And I really like the JT Miller 76.5 as well.
Yep.
I think he came over to the Rangers and continued where he left off when he was a 100-point player for Vancouver. And again, I think he's going to be motivated. He's the captain.
He's drafted by this team.
Yeah. I really like those two props. And then the other one, I will not touch Panarin. I'm just going to throw that out here now.
Okay.
Mentioned that he's banged up a little bit. His contract's ending. If this team's not winning, God knows where he gets moved to. And what type of role he would have on that type of team. The Shesterkin wins looks pretty decent too at 31.5. I mean, if he gets 32 wins, they're only at 64 points. It does not mean this team is making the playoffs still. If this team is pushing for the playoffs and Shesterkin is playing decent this season, he is going to be ridden down to the ground like Vejmelka last season, where he gets just about every single start. So I think this team has a lot of pressure to perform, bringing in a new coach. I think a lot of weight is going to be carried on that, and Igor's got to be able to ring the bells, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I like that bet a lot. Franco, any player futures for you?
I actually like both the ones you guys talked about. I like Fox a lot. I think I like the Miller one more, though. I like the price on the Fox one because you're getting that nice plus money. And again, like you said, it's a bet on health. And I think there's been a lot of negativity because of that Four Nations showing from him. And in reality, like, he's still a top defenseman in this league. Like, I know that he didn't look particularly great in Four Nations, but he was playing with an injury all year last year. It felt like. So.
Yep.
I'm willing to kind of bet on the bounce back from Adam Fox. He will be a guy in general I'll be looking to back, like, to start the season as far as point props. If I can get my rule is always, if I can get his point prop under minus 140, I'm pretty much auto taking it as long as it's a decent matchup. So I'll be doing that, and I think JT Miller's probably going to be the heartbeat of this team. So at 76.5, I feel like that's a great price. I might even go up to 80 and see if I can do like some alts on him, because I think if this offense clicks at all, it's going to be through him as opposed to previously, which it was kind of Panarin. I think Miller's the guy now.
Yeah,
I also think he will be I think he'll be taking over Trocheck's spot and playing center.
Yeah, right now he's on the second line. I think he's going to be top line, and yeah, he had a down season. I mean, Vancouver was dysfunctional last year.
Mm-hmm.
But previously, I mean, this is a guy that was like a 100-point producer, point per
He was also nearly a point per game player last year. He only played 72 games. He had 70 points. He had 35 with New York, 35 with Vancouver. So it's not even like he had a really terrible season last year. Previous to that, he had 103 points, 82, 99, And now his 80-plus points this season is at plus 130 on FanDuel.
Yep. Lock me in for that.
I think he gets back to that easily.
Yeah, I think 80 is easy, and you could alt it up even more if you wanted to. Like, I don't think it's out of the question, regardless of what I think this team is. Like, I think he's the guy. He's the driver.
Yeah. I mean, Adam Fox.
Like, he missed games because he was like forced to leave the locker room. This is not an injury thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys worry about the like general distaste with the Rangers as well? I know there was a lot of talk about the Trouba thing being traded. He didn't want to be moved, and then Kreider as well. Like, I know there's some issues with his contract situation in the trade there. How the players perceive management in New York. I feel like it's not been very like clean recently.
Yeah, and I think this is that test for the team and management. I think they need to get over some humps here. Again, bringing in Mike Sullivan feels very much like a culture shift.
Yeah,
and I agree. I think Drury's going to need to get these players to trust him again. But
yeah, he needs to mend that relationship, because if not, they're just going to stop playing for him.
Yes, I agree. But I think Miller being back helps that as well. Should be interesting. I mean,
a lot of coaching turnover too with this team. They have these high aspirations, and then they don't live up to it, and they're pretty quick to kind of change out head coaches as well.
Yep.
There hasn't been a ton of consistency recently with this squad. Just to recap some of our player futures, we love Adam Fox at 70-plus points, plus 165 on FanDuel. JT Miller at 80-plus points, plus 130 on FanDuel. I like the Shesterkin bet as well, Betsky. Kind of thinking about it a little bit more at 31.5 wins, like you talked about. I think if they do get close to that playoff spot in March and April, I think he's probably playing 95% of those games.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this division's weak enough that they should be fighting for a playoff spot all season. This honestly may be the most interesting team in the entire league.
Ooh.
I mean, this is crossroads. This is admitting the rebuild didn't work and blowing it up if this doesn't work out. If
it doesn't work out, Drury's gone.
Is this a team that would ever truly rebuild, though? Like, I feel like they're always able to retool because it's New York, and they can always, like I said, they always manage to pull in players that like they should have no business being able to.
Yep. But they got Panarin, Trocheck. If anybody would take the Zibanejad contract, if you're willing to really blow up parts of the rebuild, you can move Laugh, and then you just build around Cooley, JT Miller, and Fox, and those prospects that you've gotten over the past couple of years that look promising, like Perot and Hoffman.
Oof. Yeah, but if they do lose, like you said, those three guys, this team does not look good at all.
No, it doesn't. I
like that 95 under 95.5. The more we talk about it, it's just there's more obstacles than there are like positives that I see.
Yeah, but they could also bring in Kaprizov.
He's going to Philly.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not. Well, we'll talk about that soon.
Panarin could also just have another terrific season as well.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean,
he had 100.
You can make the argument that Panarin goes to Wild and Kaprizov comes to New York.
He had 89 points last year, and then prior to that, he had 120, 92, 96, and his point total's at 90.5. So, yeah, I agree. The more that we talked about it, I think this is a very intriguing team. It's going to be interesting to see how they do kind of shape up throughout the season. All right, we want to thank everyone for listening to this episode of Expected Bets 4. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube so you don't miss any of our picks, previews, and more daily content. You can also follow us on social media at Twitter and Instagram at Expected Bets 4. Once more, we want to thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you later. See ya.